So what's up guys, a new video, a requested video, showcase of my runes. Last time I did this was around probably December 2018 I think, 2018? Probably, I don't know. So it's been a while, some stuff has changed but a lot of stuff also didn't change. So as you can see in the bottom corner over there, I put on some common AOs. I go over those. If you want to see where I actually use them, check out my rush videos. There's a whole bunch of them. I mostly rush on stream, so you can check out that stream. European time, 9 to 10 p.m. European server time. If you want to see what European server time is, Google that shit. It's probably it's the main general European time. And I forgot what it's called. CAT probably, CAST in summer, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go through all of the units like left to right, top to bottom. The moment I already had a unit, I put in like an exclamation mark before it. If I already used the unit or already showed the unit that I have already been showed before in a different team, then you should check it on the previous team. So if you're looking for a specific team, it will go in that order. But if a unit was already picked there, maybe I'll just go over it like really quick. But if you want to see it more like in depth-ish, I just do it just the first time. So I wrote down the AOs that I use mostly, which are the 5 that I also have in my decks. So some of the AOs I actually put for a reason. Like the moment you start rushing a lot, think about what AOs you use most and what's easy to switch, for example, because this is one I use a lot. If I want to do a simple switch, it's like that. So first off, to start with Pisama, normally see Pisamas either Nemesis Despair or Will Despair. I still chose to do a combination, but no Despair. So what is used where and why and how? This one is actually more based on arena offense rather than defense. Defense, you rather probably have, well, you counter Lucians by having them, and you counter teams that don't use any strippers by having Will. So you cannot have both and Despair, of course. Despair is probably best for defense, yes. Is it best for offense as well? It's not always necessary, because most of the time you will kill the things rather than you actually need a Despair stun, in my opinion. But for that reason, this is actually not a bad build. What does it do? It will, like, especially in this team, it will have the Nemesis, so you will, if the enemy Pisama procs is passive, you will most likely cut the enemy team. On top of that, with Blade, you can add more stats. I went for a little bit too much HP and defense, as I see here. It's not that necessary, but yeah, I just like the stats. And yeah, it's just speed, crit damage, attack. And you could lower the HP, you could lower the defense. It's not that necessary. I like the high crit rate, especially for the team that's in the second place, where I don't have a stripper and I only rely on the damage of Pisama and Alicia to actually kill like Piranhas and Alicias, to have Alicia do a second turn. So for that, that's my Pisama pretty much. Then we go over the next unit. Wait, let me do it like this. Yes. Okay, so the next unit is Alicia. The Alicia I mostly use here is the triple fight Alicia, which will be the team in this case. So triple fight Alicia, and it's speed, crit damage, attack, and it's just having a really good fight set. That's just overall a lot of attack. Do you need this much attack, this much set on a fight set? Is it easy to get? No, probably not. It has some good runes like this one. And like these, like there are a bunch of good runes, especially for fight, but you don't need that much. You don't need that much sets on a fight Alicia. And besides that, it's really simple. It's an Alicia. It doesn't do that much crazy shit that you don't expect. Next unit is Lucien. So this is the main Lucien I'm using. If you watch my streams, videos, that kind of stuff more often, you've seen it more often. It's one of the hardest hitting 100% crit rate Lucians. There's probably a few out there that have more damage on like 100% crit rate Lucien. But yeah, it has some crazy runes and it's non-blade, but Preferably you have a blade, but is in my case, this rune is 2 crit damage of max, and this rune is, well, a little bit further off max. It could have been 28 crit damage and 12 crit rate, but besides that it has all the substats you need, which is pretty much a max grinder plus enchanted attack and flat attack. And don't forget to have a lot of flat attack, because like a lot of people is like, ah, yeah, this Lucien is not that great because hey, I have a Lucien that's like 260 or 270 crit damage. Well, I probably have 200 more or more than that attack than that Lucien, and I'll actually do more damage than that. You can calculate it. Attack is actually underrated, and crit damage can be overrated, even with a lot of fight sets. So that's the Lucien. And then the Kabila, simply just a fast Kabila. And then it's like, oh man, but I have a Kabila that's 210. Like, yeah, really good for you, but do you need that? Like, do you need a 210 Kabila to outspeed all Tritons if, well, plus 210, if a plus 169 already outspeeds like 95% of the Tritons? Last rushes I only had like true Tritons that actually outspeed me. You remember those people, you have two options. A, don't hit them. B, upgrade the speed of your Kabila. Can I upgrade the speed of my Kabila? Easily. But yeah, if it's not necessary, I'm not gonna do it. Simple as that. Then we have the triple fight birdie. Triple fight birdie is in the last video. This actually does not get cut. Why? I'm still not 100% sure. I have a couple of theories. But yeah, this thing should be like, if you put it in the Summoners War Rune Optimizer with the speed thingy, it should have 200, I think 269 speed to actually not get cut, but apparently the actual rate is about 243 or 42. There's one way to calculate it that we think, like me and like a couple of friends think that could work, is instead of you select 4 units in the optimizer, I'm going a little bit off track right now, but instead of selecting 4 units in the optimizer to calculate the speed, only have Kabila and Tion to calculate the speed, and then of course you can't add the speed lead, but add the speed lead to the speed tower, and from there on you can actually calculate that. It's still not 100% accurate, but it's quite close to it. Also a thing, if your Kabila would be faster, you would need a faster Tion. So another option I use is the singular fight birdie with Swift. This is an option if you cannot make a triple fight, or if you cannot make a triple fight of fast enough runes, or you have a faster Kabila than I just showed. So these are done, these are done, these are done. Okay, then we have Pisama, already did the Pisama. Then we have a Bernard. Where is my Bernard? Well, let's check out the team exactly. Well, so I already did the Pisama real quick. Poof. Yeah. Bernard is 193. Oh, but I have a Bernard that's like plus 210 or plus 220. I don't give a shit. You don't need it. You literally, for this team, you don't need that shit. I could probably get away with like 190 or something. Why do I use this team? Currently, I don't use this team too much anymore, but this was to counter the Tiana meta pretty much. And any Bernard that's plus 190 is gonna outspeed pretty much any Tiana. So simple as that. And how can you use a team without a stripper? Simply Pisama and Alicia together will deal enough damage to kill the enemy Pisama, and therefore you have a second turn of Alicia. Enemy has speed lead, so you do enough damage with Alicia's second skill, you kill everything. Easy. Check out the videos if you want to see more about that. So that's my Bernard. Then of course, I'm not using the triple fight Alicia here. I'm using the Swift Will Alicia. Preferably get as high crit rate as possible, because if you miss some critters, you're probably not going to kill the Pisama. I could have some more damage in this one, but I'm not using this team too often anymore. If I would use this team more often, then I would probably add more damage to this unit. But yeah, it's just a speed crit damage attack with some damage substats here and there, and that's all. Then we get into the Galleon. The Galleon that's connected to this one is a double shield will. For the reason mainly that you hit into Pisama's will S2 or the S3, probably S2 into you if you don't actually kill it. So you having some shield sets in here is quite nice. Also, if you would use this team against more Miho offenses, I would recommend lower crit rate on this unit. Same for the Bernard. Most speed boosters right now, I should recommend low crit rate. Next team. And it just started to rain here. Next team, Sierra. Well, this is my Sierra. Do you need a Sierra like this? No, not at all. Preferably, maybe I'm gonna do that. No, I use my Sierra for arena defense or Guild War defense as well. But preferably have speed, attack. Maybe like 85 Aki, and that's all. Do you need this much stats? Not at all. But it's just, it comes in handy when you miss bombs, a fight gets drawn out, and then you actually start to like bruise it rather than insta clear it. My Malaka is not 100% Eki, or well, you don't need 100, you need 85. Is that bad? Yes, that's bad. But I do need a lot of speed to actually outspeed this Sierra, and therefore, yeah, it is what it is. I like to have will on it so it can actually hit more targets that also have like Amduets. I use this team often against like Amduet Halfasses, those kind of jazz things, so having will on that is really nice. And then Gianna. Ha, you thought I was gonna show Gianna. Joke's on you. So what I use for my Ganymede, Gianna, by the way, could be any stripper. Could be Chiwu, could be Triton, could be Tiana, could be anything. But of course, Gianna makes most sense in a bounty. Simple as that. Ganymede is just really fast and just below the speed of my stripper. Does it mean that Gianna has one speed faster than this? Maybe it's faster than this. That's all I can say. Maybe it's 10 speed faster. Maybe 100. Who knows? But yeah, Ganymede. So yeah, it's slower than the stripper, and it makes things a lot safer. Like, you can use Bastet into a lot of things, but especially against like Vanessa Triana, those kind of teams, even like aerials, resetting them can be quite key. And I really like Ganymede because it makes teams like really safe rather than just derpy and shit. So then we have my Bastet, and my Bastet is slow, and I don't care about it. Do I need a faster one? No, I don't. It's just adding more damage, that's all. It's just literally adding more damage. And I have 100% Eki for the reason of landing the heal disturb on Hellfesses, which can help. Because bombs, most of the times I use bomb team against teams that are like heavy tanky, and often those also have like a stall-ish setup, which kind of like implies that they will have Hellfest in there or that kind of jazz. So then heal disturb will help, of course. Then the next team, it's the same Bernard, it's the damage Lucien. So the team order is a fast Lucien. This Lucien has to be faster than the Theon, or your attack speed booster could be a Dova, could be a Economia, doesn't really matter. But this Lucien has to be faster and just does some damage. This is about like 3k per amputation magic. Then Theon goes, and then this one goes and does about like 14k damage about. So you have like 60k damage without Nemesis proccing. Pretty much always. Even like against Praha's double Nem will units, Nemesis will not proc against these teams, and you just dish out 60k damage. There's not much shit surviving 60k damage. So then for the final team, and a team that I use really a lot, we have the Pisama, of course. Sometimes a substitute by the Ganymede, which I showed before. Just to make it safe, and it gives Zyros 100% Eki, which actually really works really well against those high resist teams. Then we have my Tiana. Tiana's currently 202. Could make this a bit faster, but I also like the crit damage, kind of. The crit damage, it's speed, crit damage, attack. Eki is a bit low for if you would want to bruise it. It's not really that necessary, but 202 actually outspeed most of enemy Tianas until like G2, some in G2, 3 even. So I mostly use it for that, and yeah, this team is still, I think, if you have if you would rate like the best offense, I think this is like an overall best offense for like the longest time. Only thing is you need 3 net 5s. Not everyone has all 3 of those. So that's my Tiana. Then I have a different Galleon on this one. This one has a violent guard Galleon. It has its speed crit damage or speed attack, and then Aki, low crit rate, so you can actually fight the Mihos. You can make Tiana low crit rate as well, but I actually like Tiana on high crit rate for some reason. Or it's not that high crit rate, I like it on crit damage slot 4. And then as last unit of this set, we have the Zyros. Zyros, I prefer it on Swift. I see some people make it Despair. I highly think Despair is useless because if Zyros resets something, it's pretty much already dead meat, or it's actually already dead. So do you need a Despair then? You only need a Despair if your fight would be drawn out and you're hoping for an lucky moment when you were unlucky on like resists of like Galleons and stuff like that. Is it helping then? Yes, sure, but I prefer like overall Pierce. That's just my personal preference. Do I say Despair is bad? I don't say it's bad if you have the good runes for it, but likely you have better Swift runes for it. That makes sense. Also, Focus is a nice offset, Blade is a nice offset, and just aim for around the 50 Aki. Have enough speed, make it follow up with your Tiana and that kind of stuff. That's really important. So then we have a few filler units. Those are units I don't use too much, but they're used, so I show them. We have a... show it to me. We have a triple fight dragon. It's nothing but just a speed lead with triple fight. I'm actually tempted to make a triple fight 33 lead. I could do that on Finesse, but Finesse is kind of bad. I don't have a second Pisama. Would have done it on Pisam if I would have a second one. Then I also have this one. Sometimes there's some teams, like it starts to happen again, that people actually tend to go double, or they just have like Bastet, Perna, Vanessa, and Miho. And for those matches, you can easily go in with something like this. Plus, well, in this case, I mostly use my Gianna, and you use it like this. And you have a full old style, old school shield will cleave. That still works perfectly fine. Do you need a Gianna for that? No, could be any stripper. But yeah, that's where I use this Jemaya for the Jemaya. Whoops, where did it go? Jemaya with double will shield. Why not shield will double shield? I kind of like the double will in case you would want to not use your. This one is actually faster than the Alicia, and therefore it has 2 choices. So either you do Alicia gets stunned by something and you want to cleanse right away, or you want to use the reset like after the second round, and then it moves just before Alicia moves, so there's little chance of getting cut, and that's where Jemire's not getting stunned because he's double will. It's actually kind of smart, double will. And then it's like, oh, did you just like recently do that because you saw that somewhere? Like, no, I've been running this Jemire on double will shield for the last 3 years, maybe more. Nah, probably 3 years. Then we have a Lagmaron. I mostly use Lagmarons just really occasionally to either one-shot Trianas or one-shot Half-Asses. And it just has to have enough damage, be faster than Zyros, and that's about it. It's not skilled up, not planning to scale it up at any moment. If it's just one-shotting, it's one-shotting, and that's fine. So then we have Leo. This is my Leo. I barely use Leo, actually. Like, really barely use Leo. I don't really like the Leo Lucien, or like double Lucien with the Bastet comp. I have it ruined. Also got another Lucien on Will, but it's kind of scuffed, and I don't like Leo that much. It's not that interesting unless you have Lucifer. I also have a second Leo triple fight. I made this, I thought it was interesting and cool. I ended up barely not using it at all. Another team I sometimes like to use, and that's also for like a really safe clear for like specific people sometimes. Don't use it that much anymore, but it's like Copper, Immensity, Slow Immensity, you don't need it faster, Bulldozer, and then Jamire. Mostly I use this one because it has the skill ups. And you don't really need fight sets on like Copper, Bulldozer. Do I use the team often? No, not at all. So those are pretty much all the runes of all the units that I use. There's a few teams that I used in the past that are not runed anymore. So an example for that is my Hellfest, not ruined anymore. My Raccoony is on kind of scuffed runes. Juno is still fast enough, I guess, but it's a little bit scuffed down. Garrow, those runes are worse, so yeah, those were the units I used for the Fire Bruiser team. Twins are not ruined at the moment. If you still want a bruiser, especially like Rikas and stuff like that, Juno's really good, Raccoon is really good. Those two units make things quite safe. Tetra is also a unit that makes things quite safe. It's on terrible build right now, so don't build it like that. Really, sometimes I use Ferret, it's just on a Swift build, and then you just outspeed. I use this against Tian Langs actually, so this is actually still being used. Most Tian Langs are not that fast, but they're probably faster than this, the Tian Langs. Well, actually, no, G2 Tian Langs are mostly not that fast, they're probably 240, 250. So you can outspeed it like this, probably have some more speed. You let a stripper go first, Jiwoo, Triton, Gianna, whatever you have. Everything but Tiana pretty much, and then you just use this Ferret to reduce the attack bar of everything, and then just go from there. Other bruiser units is actually really simple. Anything that's bruiserish for guild battle that you use for guild battle and that has good runes, that's the important part, because my Fire Bruiser team from before had good runes, have good like violence sets on them, have good like whatever sets on them that work, despair, blah blah blah, whatever, doesn't matter. As long as you have units that are good runes, they will probably do well in bruisering. So that's pretty much all of my runes. Been talking for 20 minutes, a bit longer than I wanted to make this video already, so I'm gonna end it here. If you have any questions or you want to see where I use specific teams, just check out the other videos. I'll just link a bunch in the description for like specific teams, or I focus more on one team or one unit than the other team. So if you're interested in one of them, you can probably find it down below. Thanks for watching, and see ya in the next one.